The party stands at the crossroads of Bree, facing west towards the Shire. From the south, a cloaked figure approaches. He moves with surety of a scout, though weariness clings to him like road dust. His cloak is deep green and ash gray. A tree is stitched over his leather corselet. He pauses, eyes sharp but not unkind, as he surveys the party. "You're headed west, then, to old lands. I've come the other way, south and east. And seeing your company at the crossroads, I wondered perhaps I might find companions for the road to Rivendell. But it does appear your arrow is aimed towards the west."
We're making our way to the Shire.
Oh, I've heard of the Shire. I've heard of the Shire. It's a very lovely place. I wish my journey was taking me somewhere so nicely. Unfortunately, I've traversed through the southern regions with poor news about what is happening down in Swanfleet, south of Tharabad, south-ish.
What news do you have?
Oh, well, the builders in Tharabad are raising stone and wood with poor thought, thinking they can dam up the Glanduin because of infection and sickness coming from those waters. Fish with black gills, and the south road of Tharabad, near it is mud, and wagons are broken down where there should be snow. So the ground is warmer than it should be. And unfortunately, my betters are not concerned with frogs that don't croak and mud. We have other concerns, but from where I've come, seeing ill fate in nature, somebody should take note, and I feel Elrond should be informed.
What does my party think? Shall we have this gentleman accompany us, or?
Well, I'm heading the other way. I will be going east towards Rivendell. It looks like you're heading west.
Do we still want to go find these pages? Or shall we do something else?
Well, I guess it depends. I wonder how far Rivendell is from where we are right now.
It would be quite a distance, I would say, potentially, compared to where you're going. Yeah, I would say that Rivendell is going to be...
tempted.
Yeah, it's going to be much further. It's going to be about 3 times further. So you're looking at a pretty long journey, maybe even roughly 3-ish weeks, maybe 4, depending.
Edwin, how serious do we want to pursue the request of the historian? Or do we want to travel to Rivendell?
It's a hard decision. I think Lord Elrond would have a lot of information and so much wisdom to impart to us about the events that we've seen. But perhaps it would be a good idea to maybe have some more information, maybe collected some artifacts or documents that we could present to Elrond to help make sense of all the mystery.
Strange behavior or event.
It perhaps would be a good idea to, at least the journey to Rivendell may be a little bit easier with another person in the party joining us. There would be, with our fellow companion here, we would be 4 instead of 3. So it would ease a journey to Rivendell. And it would be a dangerous journey for one person.
Yes. Yes, indeed. I think it'd be interesting to travel in that direction. I myself have already been to the Shire, and I'd rather go places where I haven't been.
Right. So we shall deviate and return to the Shire other time. Let's go to Rivendell.
I think that would be.
We'll give it a day's journey.
You're looking at your journey to the Shire will probably be around, well, because you're going north of the Shire, up into some of the southern hills under the old kingdom of Anomenas, and that'll probably be around a week, whereas the trip to Rivendell is going to be around a month. And yeah, that's going to be
okay. So, I mean, it's pretty silly of us to want to change our mind so rapidly. Everyone would like to go with the new gentleman. Shall we follow this guy? Can we follow this guy?
You absolutely can if you would prefer.
Is it confirmed that Mandos is believe him to be a ranger?
You can do a I would say probably a lore check if you would like.
Okay.
As I fix problems. And did you do the lore check?
Yes.
What did you get? Did you pass?
I got I passed with a couple of 10 wars with the 2 6s.
Excellent. So, based on your understanding of the South and some of the research that you have done, you recognize that as the Tree of Gondor, and that he is more than likely an Ithilien ranger coming up from Gondor.
Okay. Mandos, I recognize the sigil on your armor there. I believe it to be the Tree of Gondor, is it not?
It is the Tree of Gondor. I am very wise, and yes, I do come from that area, more in the Ithilien woods, and I am just on a journey of being a messenger right now. I've been able to take my leave to do this, and then I'll be heading back that way, and perhaps we can meet again if you are heading into the west. What were you doing anyway? So you're getting pages or something? You're getting what was this all about?
There was a strange happening the other night where the moon turned to blood red, and after consulting one of the local scholars, he was leading us to some ruins in ancient Arnor to perhaps make out and learn as to what ill omen that could mean.
I recall seeing that as well the other night while I was camping, the blood moon and the star. I have also noticed rats acting strangely in the wild. You know, this time of year they would not necessarily be so out in the open and just pausing and staring, as it were. Very, very curious indeed. It seems like, the more we would know about that would actually be good. I have no knowledge of what any of those omens might entail. So with that, would you like to follow him, or would you like to head east or west?
I think it was tempting. I think we should follow him to see if we can support him once we've kind of, I just feel like last night there was maybe this morning we're wishful thinking, but I'm recalling this blood moon now that I'm fully awake and hydrated. And I feel that this is very important to follow up on that at my skill level. And like just in general, I'm not really sure if I wanted to go meet my elven kind, but I'm still kind of on a different kind of journey. And I'd like to explore other areas. Maybe continue on our plan from the evening. But again, majority might rule. I would like to keep my companions. So if you guys want to go with this Rohan gentleman, I am okay.
Paladin, to you.
I'm just up for the adventure. I think I would rather go to follow this ranger, but he's a stranger at the moment, and I've enjoyed your company, and we've already had some adventures together. So I will stick with whatever you guys, whether direction you would like to go.
Okay.
Seems like we're gonna have to pull some twigs off of a tree and decide.
All right, it comes down to Kyrian.
Well, I believe his quest is noble. So he's made it this far, which makes me think that he's probably a capable ranger. And he's not far along. The road to Rivendell can't be more dangerous than anything he's had to go through from Gondor up to here. So, yeah, maybe we should continue on our original quest, and it just also would be a quicker journey to reach a conclusion, or at least to find our artifacts and such. Yes.
Yeah, after we get our artifacts, then maybe we'll have more stories to tell these Rivendell elves.
And it may be a mistake to put these events off for too long.
All right.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, Mattis.
Excellent. Well, may the stars not cross us in vain, but bring us back together at a time of need. Before you go, take this with you. Choose as you go into the wild, you should choose a guide carefully, someone to guide you. One that would decide the route and then when to rest. As I can see, you're needing something along those lines as you're trying to make your decisions. So choose a guide carefully. This can change from journey to journey. Another thing you could choose is a scout, somebody to scout out good trails for you. And you can also choose a lookout, someone to see if there's any danger. And then you'll also want to choose a hunter for your adventures. And so with this, we're going to have you guys choose who you want to be the hunter, the lookout, the scout, and the guide. And so you start with the guide, and the guide is basically going to help with doing marching tests for traveling. And so those tests will be travel tests as somebody who's very good with travel. Your hunter is in charge of finding food in the wild, and so they're going to be somebody who has a really good hunting skill. Your lookout is somebody who is they're in charge of keeping watch, and they're going to have a high awareness for their journey events. And then a scout is somebody who is going to be good at exploring, and they're looking for new trails and shortcuts. So.
Okay.
Well, I have no hunting.
How's everyone's travel stats?
Apologies,
I have
my head just died because technology. So go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Even though I traveled really far to get here, apparently I have nothing. But again, we want to stay in game and develop these things. Oh, my. Oh,
Yeah.
my.
I don't have any pips in travel, but it is a preferred, or not preferred. What's the term?
Favored.
Favored. Thank you. I'm favored in travel, but I don't have any extra pips.
Okay. I have a favored in travel and 2 pips. So I guess I'd be willing to take the role of guide. That's all right with everyone.
Okay.
Okay. I'm really. Oh man, what should I do?
Yeah, I have nothing in hunting. And then
But I'm really good with those, so I'm supposed to be good at hunting. Just do that. And we're gonna go starve for a little while. Edible ones, for salads. Elven food.
there we go.
What about
I'll
Explorer?
shoot a dandelion.
Explorer, I just have 1 pip in it.
Oh, I guess I'm okay. Yeah, I only have 1 too. It's a good thing we're going to the Shire.
Yeah.
We just need to start going, and we'll
Let-
figure it
let me
out.
leave
Right?
So maybe either of you could take on a scout role.
Yeah.
I'll
Scout
take
or
that
hunter. Scout or hunter would be good. Or I'd be willing to work for it and make it happen.
All right, I'll take on the scout role since I know the area that we're going.
Okay. Awareness for our
Hunting
lookout.
sounds good to me.
Yeah, the lookout would be awareness.
I actually have good awareness.
Okay. We'll put
Okay,
you
I
at
think we
that.
have our lookout.
Maybe I'll do that.
Okay. We'll put you at hunter and lookout if that works for everybody. Because you mentioned you had good. Does that work for everyone?
Yeah. What do you have in awareness?
Me? I'm so aware. What do you have?
2 pips.
I have 2. Yeah, I'm not favored, but I have 2.
Yeah, same.
Who would like
Well,
to
then
fully
we're
aware.
both aware.
I could probably take hunting as well. I have a favored with 2 pips.
Nice. Okay, you go do that.
Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go on a little bit of a journey here, and this is new for me. It's new for you guys as well because we haven't done journeys yet. And in the One Ring, the way that journeys work is kind of at a higher abstracted level. And so as we go into the adventure, sometimes we'll do journey rolls, and sometimes we'll actually just walk the path and smell the roses. But just so we can learn the mechanic, we'll go through this, and I'll kind of teach it and share it as you go through it. So for this, each hex that we have, or each sort of journey that we have, is about 20 miles that I'll be going through, and that's about 1 day's worth of journey. And what you're going to do is you're going to make the guide that we have is Edwin, so you're going to make a travel test for him.
Okay.
And because you are in winter, yeah, cool. All right, I'm good. So yeah, go ahead and make a travel test.
Oh, okay. Perfect. I got an 8 with the Gandalf rune.
Okay, so with that travel test, you obviously passed with flying colors. You guys went. You went just. You're almost to the Brandywine Bridge. That's about how far you went, and you are just north of the Old Forest. So now I need to make a roll here.
Great background, by the way.
You can't beat John Howe concept art.
Nope.
Oh, so you're actually above the Old Forest, and there was an event that's going to be taking for the lookout. So as you're journeying, what I will need you to do is I'll need you to make an awareness check. All DA.
Six, 4, 10, 11, 1. I needed to get a 16. So I'll spend.
How much did you get? 6, 4, 10, and 11?
To re-roll my 1. I got 11, and I needed to get the
Oh, gotcha.
16, right? My strength check. So I'm going to spend a hope to get going. Or I'd like to get going, so I'm going to regret this when I die, but whatever. It's okay. Oh my god, it's a 1! How terrible! Oh.
So what did you need to pass?
Not a 1. 12. I need 16, and I got 11. So I'm really happy to be here.
Oh, you're actually in a borderland, so your rolls are favored. So that means you can roll another. I apologize. You are in a borderland, so you can roll
another one,
another D12, and then pick the better of the two. What'd you get?
I don't know. We have to focus here.
Oh.
Go on.
You need Gandalf.
10. It's done.
You passed?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So in Borderlands, there's
I grow in
As you-
Viola dirt. Like right now.
As you journey, you're either going to be in the Borderlands, the wild, dark lands, perilous lands, and you're kind of on the edge between things, but you're basically in a borderland area. I'm going to make that call. So that means that you're favored. In other places, you're going to be ill-favored. So keep that in mind as you're going into dangerous areas and we're doing journey events. Could be bad.
Even if you have a favored skill?
If you have a favored skill, then it just goes to neutral. It's no longer favored. It's just going to go to like, down to just regular.
Just the one down. Okay.
Yep. And so as you're,
So what did I see?
So what happened on your journey? So as you're the lookout, so you're kind of going ahead and taking a look at things, and you run into let's bring this up. You run into it's funny, I had everything so perfect. You guys are basically right about here. Okay? And as you're walking, you run into one of the Bree hobbits on their way to Bree. So they're a little bit more stocky, and they had some business in the Shire. And you get to talking with them, and you mention where you're headed, and you mention the directions that you were given to go through Scary and to head up, and that you're heading up to an old scribe tower. And he doesn't know much about the scribe tower that you're headed to. Oh, look, we have a nice picture of you guys getting ready to leave with the ranger coming up. This is what happens when you're getting all on your head technically. You forget the cool stuff. So he mentions that whoever gave you those directions has obviously not been there, and he has an old map, and he says that and he kind of shows you that you would be heading more into the wild if you kind of head up this way, and that really you want to head down here and to go up this old road here that goes up to Oatbarton, and then this goes up to Kingsbury. And he was having you wrap around. He's like, the directions you had were a little confused. So he sets you right. He scribbles something on a piece of paper for you. And he actually mentions that if you just go a little bit past this road to the 3 Farthing Stone, there's a great inn that you can stay in, and rest up before you head up north. So
Great.
You now have a fun little hand-drawn map for yourself. All right.
Yes.
And because you passed, nobody is fatigued. You had a nice little walk, and you're leaving Bree, and everybody's still feeling pretty good. Nobody gained any fatigue. So with that, guide. Would you like to make another travel roll?
All right. Didn't quite pass. Let's see. Yeah, I got a 13.
Okay, so on not passing, you still travel. Nothing bad occurs, but what happens is you travel a little bit not quite as far before an event occurs. So you get to the Brandywine, you cross over the Brandywine, and you just get a little bit further. And now we're going to roll for a journey event. And with that, I don't think that's going to get beat, but I do it. Okay, and now I'm going to see who deals with it. The lookout again. All right. So, would you like to
am I still favored?
You're still favored. You're now have journeyed. You're right about, here's the Brandywine, so you're right about here. About where you're at on the map. Right about there.
Oh, good. I got a ruin.
Mm-hmm.
And 6, and then The line at the bottom means 9, right? Like if
Uh,
it's a
Yeah, if you have it this way and then underneath, yeah, that's a 9.
yeah. So we're at 15 and a ruin, which
Excellent.
is 16 technically, right?
Yes, quite amazing. And so what you see coming up the road, all of you see this, is there is a wagon that is coming up, and it is actually a dwarven wagon, and they're very happy. They've probably been having lots of drinks, and they're singing lots of songs, and the snow is just falling, and it just really makes you feel very happy to see, because dwarves sometimes can be a little bit grumpy, but you see this and it's just really amazing to see just almost a party on the road that's coming towards you, and they offer you drinks and ale, and it just really, I don't know, it just kind of restores your hope. So everybody can have a restoration of 1 hope if you've lost any. And as they're leaving, it's just an amazing time to have drinks just on the road with passerbys.
Woohoo.
Okay, so we're heading into traveling again after everybody's gotten their hope. And I guess at this point, it's a good time to ask, since you are right about here, what are you guys, where are you wanting to travel? And this would come up to the guide. So the guide, your job is you can dictate where you're going, or you can work with your party to tell you to kind of say, hey, where do we think is best? So this is the map that the lookout gave you, that Aldia gave you. Do you want to keep with the Eldarin, the scholars plan, and kind of go up through Scary here and kind of head up and try to find the tower this way? Or do you want to use the suggestion of the Bree Hobbit and maybe go to the 3 Farthing Stone and then double back a little bit and then head up?
Yeah.
What do we think?
Do you all think we should go to the 3 Farthing Stone and maybe rest up, get some more information, perhaps?
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea, since the historian is either a little forgetful or hasn't been there, quite a while. Hasn't traveled these local areas.
This plan
I'd
is
say we go to
good.
the 3 Farthing and rest up.
Yeah. All right. Well, then we shall continue on to the 3 Farthings.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for travel.
Uh, 16. That's a pass.
Excellent. So you are able to make it to... Oh, and I do apologize. From the last one with the fail, everybody did gain at least 1 fatigue. Because there was... Oh, never mind. Rewind. I didn't just say that. You guys are all good. Nobody gained fatigue. So you guys do make it to the 3 Farthing Stone. No journey events take place because you made it to the destination that you're trying to get to. You do see the stones thrown in, and as you head into there, it is a bit empty. There's a couple people around, but there's plenty of rooms for you to rest up for the evening. So let's say that you have a table just to warm up. I mean, it's cold outside, and you're getting some soups and some ales and some cider. And what I want you to do is look around the table at these adventurers that you've been spending some time with, and it's quiet at the table between all of you. And your mind drifts to the journey ahead. You glance around, you're cautious, curious, maybe hopeful, maybe mistrustful. You're trying to understand who these people are that you have just met, and questions begin to stir. Do you actually trust them? Do you know them? Are you truly ready for what lies ahead? Can you rely on who these people are around the table? And what made you take this road in the first place? So as the silence holds around the table between all of you, you see it on others' faces. They're thinking too, maybe the same thoughts, maybe worse. Who will talk first?
I think I need some more of that ale. So I'm gonna order that. Are you guys enjoying the ale?
I don't know if I exactly caught the
I
tail.
didn't hear what you said. All I heard was a bark.
She asked if you're enjoying your ale.
Ah, yes, it's a fine ale.
Yep, best I've had in a long time. I look over at Paladin and ask, Paladin, do you ever feel concern or that on your journeys you may run into peoples or hostile creatures that are 5-10 times your size?
Sure I do. But whether it's a hobbit or a man or an elf, give everyone the benefit of the doubt, and then, of course, if it tries to run in and kill me, then I know where it stands. But in those cases, traveling with folks I can trust and will always make this adventure better and safer for all.
Yes, I agree. Trust is very important. Sometimes all you have between you and what might be the end of you, the difference could be a person fighting alongside you.
Yes, it is. But also in those most dangerous times also come the greatest stories to tell over an ale. And I cheers to
It's true.
Edwin.
Cheers. Well said.
Excellent. So with that, your party heads up to call it an evening, even though there are dogs barking down in the end and keeping everyone awake at night. You're able to find some rest. And the next day, you wake up and get ready to head out for the day and to journey north. And so this is where we'll shift from journey events. And as you're journeying up northward, so you're heading up this trail right now, it's about a day and a half's journey. It's snow. There's not a lot of events taking place. And
Yeah,
you see
before we leave.
Oh.
Before we leave, can we get some supplies for our travels?
Yeah, what would
From
you
the
like
inn?
to grab? Yes, they have cheeses and meats and breads and sausages and biscuits.
Yeah. Just some meats and breads, and I think that might be a good idea for to keep us strong on our travels.
I do have a question.
Mhm.
The last adventure that we did, we all gained a point of some sort, correct?
Yeah, we'll discuss that at the end of this one, probably.
That's okay. Got it.
So, yeah, leave it to the Hobbit to think about all the food and the sausages and the biscuits, right?
Yes.
So you're just stuffing your bags full of stuff because you're speaking Hobbit to the lady at the 3 farthing stone.
Mhm.
She knows what's up, and she's happy to just give you plenty of food. So your satchels are full before you leave the inn. And it was your party had just left the Stone's Throw inn, and you had moved back east along the east road, and then you were kind of hooking up to this road here to head north, and a dwarf was approaching you, kind of coming up from behind, not coming in from in front of you, if I have that correctly.
Do we hear or see him coming up on us?
Yeah, let's do, well, yeah, I would say you probably notice, right? Because you're walking, there's not a lot to distract you. And so as you're walking, you notice this figure behind you that just seems to be coming towards you with purpose. I don't want to speak too much for them, but I would assume so, as much.
Okay.
Yep. So you see a dwarf, average height, probably 4'3", something like that. Stocky, well dressed, as in lots of warm layers. A white or dark or light gray traveling cloak, hood up, and carrying a dwarven mattock, half pickaxe, half axe, and carrying a very large pack with lots of leather cylinders strapped to it. And you see him walking up with purpose towards you. Greetings, travelers. I saw you at the inn, and a strange sight. A man, a hobbit, and an elf traveling together. And your party intrigued me.
Well, we are an interesting party. Hello, fellow traveler.
Hello, Master Hobbit. Forgive my manners. My name is Thrar Gateseeker. I have been traveling these lands for many decades and have never once come across a party such as yours. And I'm intrigued as to why you have decided to change direction. I did not see you traveling west of the 3 farthing stone.
Well, hello. Slight bow. I'm Paladin Took Second. And I start to go in a long-winded story about the Took family, but then stop myself. And then say, yes, we got some, old information from the historian in Bree regarding the blood moon. It was a very strange event. It made bats act strangely, and apparently rats come out and stare when in this cold weather. Anyway, and we were talking with a fellow traveler, and gave us new directions. So a more recent path. And as we were traveling, we chose to stay at the inn and then take this slightly quicker route, it looked like, from our map that he gave us.
And where are you heading if you're taking these new routes?
Yes, we're going to a mysterious tower that may hold pages from a old book that the historian Bree is looking for that may shed some light on these omens. They may have happened before. But my good friend Eldwin here, he knows all about these things. So he's a scholar of great repute.
Ah, a fellow scholar. Well met.
Well met, Master Dwarf. My name is Ithilien. Intriguing events are a cause for intriguing parties. Yes, these events are troublesome for and I myself, as a ranger of the north, I'm always ever so watchful to make sure that the people of this area are safe. It's no mistake that we are also on this journey to search for old lost homes and artifacts. As a scholar myself, I find great meaning and value in preserving the lost relics of my people. Now tell me, is that something that is of interest to you? I notice some of the gear on your pack looks like it may contain tomes and scrolls of your own.
Indeed, I have been traveling the wilds of Western Eriador for more decades than I care to admit, seeking out knowledge and artifacts, as you say, of my own people, seeking lost knowledge of the great cities of Nogrod and Belagost, lost to the ages. And all knowledge is useful knowledge, I might say. And so if your party has need of an extra pair of hands and a well-worn set of boots, I offer you my services in your journey so far as it goes.
We welcome you.
Knife ears. Bows his head.
Great.
Excellent. All right, so
You evade us, though. Should they be in a chest? Should they be in a library? Should they be in a castle? Should they be in a small room? I've been thinking about this the whole time. Whose pocket? Evil Ranger pocket?
So you now have a new party member with you, and you're heading along in the snow with a barking dog following you guys, and you're making it through. Oh,
Shoo.
Shoo, annoying dog. Yeah,
Everywhere, these dogs.
he is on fire today for sure. So you head up through to Oakbarton, and we'll kind of fast forward it a little bit. You have some drinks there, hang out with some of the hobbits in Oakbarton, and then you make it up to the tea in the trail here. And could I let's have you guys essentially, as you're hiking along here, I need somebody to try to remember how to get to that tower. Like what has happened to the road is the road's kind of a normal hobbit dirt road, and then it gets very overgrown, and as you get up to Kingsbury, it's just, you can't even really tell. But as you turn, there's some stone, some rubbly kind of stone path. It looked like it might have been a city road many thousands of years ago. It's kind of a garbage road at this point. And then it does get overgrown again. And as it's overgrown and you're kind of going up and down through paths and pine, who would like to see if they can remember where they were supposed to go?
Okay, what do we roll for that?
Yeah, I would have you.
Are you going down to the stones?
First, let's pick who is going to try to remember.
No, that's my question. What skill?
Yeah. So we're gonna see. We're gonna go down the line. So who would like to try first to see if they can remember?
Sure. I'd like to remember.
Okay. So we're gonna have you roll for a. Let's do a riddle. It's kind of a riddle roll, right?
Okay.
So let's
10.
see.
Out of 15.
So you turn to, you turn to the rest of the
My
party.
ear is quite good at this.
You turn to the rest of the party like, yes, we kind of knew how to get here, but I am lost. What are we supposed to do? So who would like to try next?
All right. I rolled as well. So I got a 27 with one 6 on my D6 and a 12 on my D12.
Excellent. So you recall immediately that you're looking for a trail off to the right side that is probably fairly obviously a trail that was going to be used, and you're looking for a piled up white stone monument of some kind is what you're looking for. So if you want, you can remind the party of that.
I do.
Yeah, so you remind everybody of where you're supposed to go. So as you're hiking up and everybody's wandering around and looking for this, the trail finally flattens out and you are able to see this kind of stone path. And there's a pine forest that is pretty sparse. You do see a pile of bone white rocks that are pretty high, that it look like they've been stacked almost just like a mound of white rocks. You see gravel with pine all over it that looks like an obvious kind of trail from ages past. And would you like to... and by the way, the road that you're on continues sort of up a little bit, and you can see it starts to descend downwards.
Okay.
What would you guys like to do?
I like to continue up and just go to the crest of the trail and look down and see what's on the other side.
So this main road here, you're about right here. So you want to kind of see what's on the other side, or you want to head up the path? You're saying this is the one you want to take a look at?
Yeah.
Excellent. So you're going to do a little lookout, right? From the party. So everybody's good with waiting for a little bit? Is everybody good with that? Okay, so party kind of hangs out, and Paladin runs forward. He runs up the hill and goes to take a look. And what you see is not a lot, but you see that the road actually that has been kind of very overtaken by time and nature starts to, like, further off in the distance, maybe a mile or so down, you can see it starts to become rock, like stone again, but still very overgrown. And you think you can make out a bridge and a river much further down, quite a ways. Hard to tell how far, but you can kind of spot it.
Okay. All right. I'll come back down, and then I'll let the party know that the trail hasn't gotten any better, but it won't get any better. But then I'll tell them about the bridge, and it's still pretty overgrown, but there is a definite trail or a road, depending on how flexible your term of road is.
Yeah, just to be clear, you have this main road here, and then the white stone in the path is cutting off from that to the right, kind of heading back east and a little bit uphill. So that would be what, with your riddle roll, you would know that was the one that Eldrin had talked about taking. But you do have options.
Okay.
What would you all like to do?
Yeah. Do we take the road that Eldrin mentioned? I mean, sounds like we're starting to kind of doubt his memory of of the paths.
Yeah, let's get walking quite swiftly.
Yeah. I mean, we're in the area now, so maybe we should take more of the general area now. Maybe we should take the road that Eldrin mentioned, since it's iffy on each direction.
Farther along than we are now.
Mhm.
Lovely sunlight. It's quite cold. Winter.
Okay, so do I hear that everybody's planning to go up the trail that Eldrin had kind of mentioned? There's the white stones. It veers off the main road, kind of heads uphill a little bit into the hills.
We want to go uphill into the wood near the stones.
I see a lot of head
Yep.
nodding.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the red stone path.
No.
Great. So you're heading up, and as you're heading up, it's actually kind of a nice winter walk, and it's very beautiful. All the pine. You can smell the sap. You can smell the snow. You can, you're seeing a little bit of wildlife, a couple of snow bunnies, and then it begins to veer a little bit to the right and then veer to the left. And before you know it, you're in switchbacks and you can start to feel it in your legs. It's just burning. The temptation to put your packs down and take a rest is ever present. It begins to get very steep the longer that you're walking and crunching snow under feet and you're feeling the press of your packs. So can I get everybody to do an athletics check?
Feels like it would be leading up to a tower of some sort. I got
a pebble in my shoe. I'm sorry.
Terrible.
I need to take my boot off and shake it out. Technical difficulty here.
4.
I did not make my target number, so I got 12. I needed a 17.
I got a Gandalf rune with a 7. So I guess I just start noticing everyone lagging behind me.
So as a reminder for players and JT Thrar as well, you always get to roll a 12-sided dice. So you did get a 4 even with the 12-sided.
2. I have 1 pip, so 2 and 2.
Excellent. So
Great roll.
you can let us know what happened. I love that. So you got a pebble in your shoe, and it just was bugging you the whole time. And what happened to you, Paladin?
I rolled a 12. My target number was 17.
So what occurred? Why did you fail? What was going on in this hike? Did you have to stop and eat some biscuits or something?
Well, of course. It's second breakfast.
Excellent. Thrar, what was going on with you?
A scroll case detached from my pack and started rolling down the hill. So I had to run after it.
Excellent. And Kyrian, Captain Athletics, what was going on with you?
Yeah, I noticed the voices of the chatter kind of start waning a little bit, and I look over my shoulder and see this a little ball of I don't know what's going on, and kind of do a little forehead pinch and a little sigh. Maybe whisper patience to myself.
Ithilien, you want a biscuit?
Excellent. So, Paladin, Thrar, and Aldia, I need you to take a fatigue.
Oh.
Yeah, you're fatigued.
And
And
how can you be
Kyrian,
fatigued when you've eaten biscuits?
Kyrian is invigorated. He's climbing trees while he waits for you and doing push-ups.
I'm running in place.
Actually, is quite apt for a ranger.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm doing lunges.
Just lunges back down to us, then lunges back up, and
So, you guys gather together again. You finally reach the top of these switchbacks, and there's a hilltop plain. You see the ruined tower is a skeleton of what it once was. There's really not a tower to speak of. Whatever struck it left nothing but a broken spiral staircase, curling like jagged spine into the sky. It vanishes up into empty space with only a few steps that you would not want to climb up, leaving it exposed to the darkening sky as it is becoming dusk. The tower has what looks to be just rubble off the back end of it, and then cutting to the left may have been a main quarters or well. It is hard to tell. It is just bare stone and beams. There's just nothing there. It's been destroyed probably in some kind of long ago raid or war. The day is giving way to evening dusk, and it threatens to shroud you in darkness. You can see that while you're on a plane of sorts, it's not a peak, you're on a plane of sorts, it descends down eastwardly from where you came from, probably a mile or so, and then downwards down into where a forest is. And you see birds kind of flying out from the forest.
Thrar walks up to the open, gaping doorway of the tower and taps the stonework with the haft of his axe. Shoddy craftsmanship. If dwarves had built this, it would still be standing.
If elves would have built it, it would have been still standing.
You see Thrar's eyes narrow slightly.
I'm just saying, both of our craftsmanship would be better than this.
I will give you
Of course, we
that.
know your craftsmanship is amazing.
Well, I'll give you that, knife ears. So, if this is the tower you are seeking, do we enter?
We should probably look,
think we need to look around.
right?
Yeah.
See if there's any magic or bad sickness or anything.
You like to
Yeah.
look around?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start down the line here. We'll start with what everybody wants to do. So, Aldia, you wanted to look around, so why don't you do an explore check?
A rune.
Oh, wow. So with a rune, exploring and looking around, you can see kind of through, because you have your, and this is theater of the mind. I don't have a lot of visuals, so go with me. You have your tower here, and it kind of goes to the back from where you're standing, and then cuts over this way, and it's just shambles, and you're able to see that there's a well in the back of the tower, and then up to the front where you're standing here, you notice pretty close to where you're standing, there's actually a fire pit and some makeshift seating around the fire.
Excellent. Well, I feel more confident. Just go
Let's go
down
to
this tower.
let's go to maybe Kyrian, what would you like to do?
Yeah. I'd like to inspect the that fire pit. Maybe kind of get a glimpse of if it has been recently camped at, or signs of who may have camped there.
Let me ask you a question. When you are, so you've got a couple of things that you can do. Are you wanting to inspect what's in the fire pit area, or are you wanting to understand how it has been used?
I guess we could go for how it's been used.
All right. I need you to please give me a hunt roll. He's going to go full head on the ground mode. Tasting dirt or snow.
Oops. It's a dice. Five with the Gandalf rune.
Excellent. So with that, you're very successful. I will kind of reveal some of the things you're seeing, but what are you doing? What are you physically doing in your full ranger mode of what are you doing around this campfire? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like crouched, like I'm mostly crouched, right? I'm looking at little twigs. I'm looking at anything that looks like an imprint. I'm picking up ashes and rubbing them in my fingers, maybe spitting a little on there.
Excellent. And what you taste when you're spitting some of those ashes out, and is that there is just there's a flavor to it that allows you to know that maybe some food has been cooked that the race of men might eat. But then also it's mingled with things that men would not eat that are a little bit not of a good flavor. And the footprints that you're seeing around as you're brushing the snow away to look, because there's no recent activity, brushing the snow away and looking around. This is a camp that is used not only by rangers, but also by orcs or maybe even by bandits. It's a multi-purpose kind of just spot that people have sort of drifted in and out of and have used for their own purposes.
We must be wary. This camp is not. We are not the only ones that may use this camp, nor are men the only ones that use this camp, or men of good intent. I also track some orc signs as well, so we may not be alone.
All right, so let's go to
Be
Paladin.
cautious.
What would you like to do?
I'd like to look around the ruins to see if there's any like access to a lower level or any remains of books or furniture, that type of thing that could give me any clues.
Excellent. So with this, as you're looking around the ruins, I would say this is a hybrid-y kind of approach. You can use a scan or a hunt roll, whichever you prefer. How generous of me, right?
Yeah, I'll go with a scan. All right, I got an 11 on my 12-sided and a 6 on my D6. I beat my target number by 1. My target number is 16. I got a 17.
Excellent. So as you go into the kind of doorway that's a little decrepit and there's rubbles around, do you want to describe a little bit, and I'll let you know what you find, like as you're moving things around, or what's happening to you? How are you doing this?
Well, I'm just going to start wandering around the ruins, like leaving the party doing whatever they're doing, Um,
We're watching
trying
you.
to move some bigger things.
Turn around.
Moving
You're
around. Trying to get through smaller areas that are, I think might hide something. Just being very searching in a very determined manner to see what I can find.
Excellent.
Anything of slight interest.
So I would say you're probably going methodically through and looking at those back
Yes.
quarters area, and it is charred and burnt, and there's really nothing there of consequence. Broken old things that have been burnt from long ago, and the sort of area just off the back of the tower that is connected to it. These are low, right? This is exactly the same. It is just destroyed, just beams and rubble. As you enter the door of the tower, you notice under some rocks some iron that has bolts in it, and brushing some of the rocks away, you see a door, like a trap door that leads below. It's aged wood, it's bound in iron. It doesn't look like it's been used in quite some time, but you also notice that there are some deep claw marks and crudely etched ruins. That's something you haven't seen before, but it looks like some kind of writing.
Okay. And I haven't seen it before. It's not familiar.
It is not familiar. I would say this would be out of what you're looking at would be out of the purview of a hobbit, probably.
Gotcha.
Bilbo maybe slightly would have a ill-favored chance trying to understand what this is.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm going to stand up, like brush myself off a little bit, and then call over for Ithilien to that I found a hatch or a trap door with some runes or symbols on it that I don't understand.
Okay, so we'll pause there for one moment. This is, we have A plots and B plots and C plots happening. I want to make sure everybody gets a little sunshine. So that's what's happening there. So we're going to cut to Thrar. What's Thrar up to right now?
Thrar is inspecting the structural integrity of the tower because he does not trust mannish construction, especially one that has not been maintained in well over 1,000 years.
Excellent. So I can already picture what he's doing, but would you like to tell us what how this is physically transpiring?
Just tapping. He put his mattock away. He took out a little very small hammer, and he's just tapping at the stone with his ear to the stone, listening to it, just listening to how the stone resonates.
Excellent. Yeah, would you like to do a crafting check?
Sure. That's with 2. That's 14. And that does not meet my target number by 1. I needed
Okay.
15.
You could always spend a hope if you like, or we can...
Yep, I'll do it. I'll spend a hope. So then I roll an extra d6.
Yep.
2. That beats it by 1.
Excellent. So you're walking around tapping things with your axe and, looking at the stone and checking the stone out, very skeptical. And what you're able to determine from most of this is definitely was sieged in a war or just destroyed outright. There was obviously a lot of burning that's going on. From what you can see, this is nothing you'd want to ascend in the tower. It is very crumbly and very dangerous. But the tower itself is likely not just going to fall in. This is it's seen the worst of it, but it is not for general use.
But whatever is still standing is not going to fall on us at the slightest wind.
Right. Whatever. It's already gone through hundreds of years of storms. This is a structure that you would trust it but not use it.
Gotcha.
All right, so now let's cut back to Kyrian, who is around the campfire and inspecting it. Mm-hmm. And not too far away is Paladin, who is calling you over. What would you like to do, Kyrian?
I perk up when I hear runes.
Well, what about Dea? What's she doing?
We will come back to Aldea. Oh, did we not do Aldea? I thought we did.
Not do Aldea.
I'm here. I was waiting.
Yeah, you actually saw. You did the lookout. You saw. You found the well. You found all of that. So yeah,
Yes,
we go.
No, I'm kind of like hovering near the entrance, like peeking in.
You're peeking in the entrance.
I've been peeking in for a while.
Okay.
That's it.
So it's up to what's happening, Kyrian.
Yeah. So in my energetic way, perk up really quick, hear runes, and quickly make my way over to Paladin to see what he found and inspect the runes.
All right.
And
so...
I'll show him where it is, and then I'm hoping he has to. I can crawl under something, and he has to crawl under with me to get to the runes. So, but
yeah, it's not. It's kind of close to the door. So, but there's some rubble and a beam that you kind of have to crouch down to kind of get to. But it's accessible right by the door to a certain level. But yeah, so you point out the runes and you're taking a look at them. I'll need you to do a lore check.
Excellent. Woohoo. I got a Gandalf rune, 14, and 1/6, the Tenwar.
Gandalf rune. Oh, so you did an amazing roll.
I succeed with the Tenwar, yes.
You've seen this marking before, and you're very familiar with it as Orcish scrawlings. And the word it's just says, when you translate it into common tongue, it is cursed. That has been etched across this trapdoor that Paladin has found for all of you.
It's old. It is crude Orcish language, and it reads "cursed" on the door. Something in there is the orcs have fear of.
In my experience, anything an orc fears is nothing for us to fear, for any of the free folk.
Perhaps
Nice.
It's defended by the spirit of my people yet. Undefeated, even in death.
In the distance, you hear wolves howling and more birds flying out from those woods that you had seen, but the birds are closer now, and it seems like they're being disrupted, and you're hearing branches kind of break.
does just Kyrian hear that? Or do we all hear that?
You all kind of notice it.
Thrar's gonna look, because he's still standing in the doorway, so he's gonna sort of lean out and see if he can see anything.
Nothing at this point. You just notice a lot of birds. I mean, the forest is quite a ways off, and it's downhill, but you do notice, okay, there's probably something going on over there.
I don't like the sound of that. The birds are uneasy. This tower does not provide much defense. I would say either we find some cover or we go down the hole.
Agreed. The forest stirs, and darkness is not our ally.
So, do we break cover and seek shelter, or see if we can hide from whatever might approach in these cellars?
I'm curious about what's down in this hatch. So
Is the Thrar walks over to Paladin and Kyrian. Is the hatch locked or just closed?
yes, that was my next question. I saw the writing, and so now I have to look around and see if it's locked or is it just stuck? Can I see any visible locks?
You do not see any visible locks.
Okay.
All right. I would say I would talk to Thrar and say, like, well, I don't see any. Do you see any, Master Thrar?
Do I see anything that appears
Yes.
like a lock?
Yes. All right.
Well, we can jump in. I think we can, safe to say, if anything would be pursuing us, it will not follow us down there. As for staying up here, I agree with Thrar that this is not a very defensible area. And making camp here would alert any potential enemies of our presence.
Agreed.
So, would you like to try to open the door?
I will jam the flat end of my mattock and try to pry it open.
All right, you
Get out of your way. There.
you pry it. You're able to pry it open with kind of a creaking, almost pop of time, and just almost a fume of stale, dank oldness enters your nostrils because you're the closest to it. It's just, even for a dwarf, it's unpleasant. And all you can see down there is absolute blackness. But you can see the first 2 or 3 steps.
I'll put one foot on the first step and just tap it with my heel. Is it wood? Is it stone?
It is solid stone.
Stairs seem strong. Anyone have a torch?
Yes, I have a lantern. I dig into my bag and I pull out my lantern and light it.
Is this a good time for me to remind you of something that might be nearby that could be helpful, or should I not? The party can decide. There is a campfire.
Right. But is it going?
Well, you had a ranger that was a little bit more interested in knowing the story rather than inspecting the campfire.
I am a scholar first and a ranger second.
As players, you can let me know if you want that or not. Little hints or things.
I jump Angeli to the fire.
Okay, so the elf has heard a message from the Valar and instinctively just feels something in the air and decides to go take a look at the fire area. And so within there, you can do just a scan.
Oh. Yeah, it's the fire. that's not a fire. It's the pit of ash, and lots of people cook here. That's what we figured out.
The singing elf by the fire definitely alerts you that she is standing by a fire singing. What would you like to do?
Thrar will walk over.
Okay. So, would you like to do a
Never
scan?
heard of fire before.
Yeah, I'll do a scan. What is that? Okay, it's favored with 3. I got Gandalf rune. That's which would make 12, 14, 15, 21 with 1 success with 1 Tengwar.
Excellent. So you're able to find 3 torches and a couple of flints for lighting those torches, and even some oil as you brush the snow off, and you're able to see that. However, as you're discovering all of this and finding this, a distant but far too close noise happens in all of your ears. You all notice it, and is heard from that forest of cracking limbs. And out from the forest front, you see 2 large stone trolls break through the trees. Aldier,
Whoa.
because you do have an elf in your party, is able to see that one troll is squinting up at your party and trying to grab the attention of the other troll. You see him nudge and push the other troll to grab the attention while pointing up at you.
Oh, great. Hey, there's some bad news. There's some really bad things out there.
Thrar looks up at the elf while bundling the torches and the oil and the flints. What news?
Danger, everyone. On guard. Let's back up.
It-
A little bit.
Safest place is underground. Nothing
Alright.
safer.
You guys are going to run underground?
You heard
Yeah.
Master Dwarf into down the
Alright.
stairs.
So who's jumping in first?
I'm ready. I've been ready.
Just like Legolas and Moria, you're first to get the heck out of there when you see a Balrog. All right, so
Oh
Sorry,
no! Wait, what? Is that a subliminal message? Is there a Balrog down there?
no.
Oh, no.
Sorry to go out of character.
He
This is
says
my
that
own
now.
personal fun. Anyways, sorry. Yeah, so the Aldier jumps down into the black pit. She has not lit her torch yet, so it's absolute darkness. Who's next?
I'm not going to jump down. I'm going to use my torch and slowly get down there.
Mm-hmm. So you do have that lantern, right?
Yes,
That's an awesome lantern. Yeah, it's a great one.
It
So
is. I lit it before the trolls came.
So next paladin actually heads down. He's got that lit. He's going down. He's lighting the way, and you can see Aldier is standing there looking around a little bit. Who's next?
Thrar will go in last. He'll close the hatch. He hands Kyrian the bundle of torches. After you.
Kerrigan then jumps down and kind of makes a teasing remark as I go down. The elf was quicker to go underground than the dwarf was.
We can debate this once we are safe. Thrar goes in and pulls down the hatch.
You pull down the hatch. The stairs are stable, but each step is coated with a thin layer of slick moisture, making every step a test of balance. The air is thick and unmoving. It carries a dampness that clings to your skin. There's a faint draft that brushes past as the trapdoor closes above, sealing out the world above you and locking you into the embrace of stone and shadow. Had fun writing. The further down you go, the worse the stench becomes. At first, it's just earth and mildew, but then something rancid, a decay, something in the air. The stone walls glisten as though they are sweating, and the silence here is heavy. It's not peaceful, it is watchful. At the base of the stairs, there you see in front of you basically a ruined larder of a hallway. Its yawning entrance is devouring in light from your torches that have been lit at this point, and your lantern into the darkness, so you can't necessarily see the end of the hallway, but you can see about 10 or 15 feet or so into it, and it just goes into shadow and darkness. And to your right, there's a small alcove that opens into what, just off of a first glance without going in, it looks like it may have been a storeroom that has been repurposed into something else.
Something died down here.
Many things. Hopefully. Hopefully just rats.
Let us hope.
Yeah.
Tread lightly, friends. We are no longer in the comfort of our homes.
So as
Thrar
you-
is
Oh, go
How
ahead.
long can we stay down here for those
Yeah.
trolls to go by?
It is just become evening. Just.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Well, let's go to that storeroom.
I'm gonna head towards that room and see what's in there.
I'll follow the hobbit.
This is
I'm
your
following the hobbit.
your visual, by the way, of the hallway, so that you do see skeletal remains and whatnot around. So
Big rats. Human-sized rats. ROUS.
What can we see here?
So turning into this little alcove, you could tell it used to be a storeroom, but it has been turned into something else, of a refuge of a broken soul or of a mad person. You see remnants of a bedroll to the back, kind of as you're walking in. It's over here. The bedroll's over here, and it's just pretty nasty and rotten. Moldering rags more than anything. And in front of you, you see some shelves, and there's a makeshift table to the left. The room is really only barely enough to fit all four of you, so maybe somebody's standing in the doorway while the other three are kind of squeezed in looking at things.
Thrar will stand in the doorway. He's keeping an ear for noise on the surface.
So it's not a
We're
large
kind of
room.
like shuffling around each other because I'm so tall and I'm like really uncomfortable. Okay. I start to like kick some things. Try to find anything of value, maybe. I mean, that chest looks pretty good though, right?
This is
So maybe
this is not the alcove. This is just that hallway. So you turned over to your right, and you're in this little room now.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and
And in
that's
the
not the storage room.
No, I don't have every image for everything, sadly. This is just the atmosphere of the underground area. But this is essentially your hallway that goes into who knows what. And you're off to the right now in this little storeroom. And in that storeroom, there's a
I'm
bed.
still kind of shuffling my feet, trying to
Yeah, it's a bed in the
Mhm.
back. There's like kind of some shelves there, and a little makeshift table, or looks like a little station.
Yeah, I'm gonna work my way over there carefully and look through the shelf in the station. See if I can find
Okay.
anything.
Yeah, I would say, can you give me a scan check?
Yep. Just made my target number with a 16. I
Okay,
got
so
11, I got 11 and a 5.
excellent. So up in the shelving, you see it's pretty broken and disheveled. Lots of just dust and grime and gross things, and just not really anything of use. And as you look over to the table, which is, the door is here, and then there's a little table that has been made. What you see there is candles that have been almost all of the wax has been spilled over onto the table. There's ink or blood. It looks like maybe a little bit of both potentially. There's handfuls of paper and parchment that are brittle but intact that have been written on.
Do I recognize the writing?
Yes, I would say this is a mixture of maybe common tongue and maybe a little bit of Elvish. And so we'll say maybe a little bit just from hanging out with Bilbo and your, curiosity as a youth.
Okay.
But it will require a lore check if you want to see what it's saying.
Yeah, I'll let the others know that I found a brittle old parchments with common and Elvish language, or what looked like Elvish, and I'll try and read what I can.
All right, let's do a lore check.
Yeah, just got my target again, so nothing special. Just got my 16.
That's fine. So you're going through the parchments and you're trying to piece together things. It's not really. Not only is it not super fluent for you, but it is also, even if it was, it's very fragmented. But you're able to piece together that these are thoughts of a person who was in wars but is no longer in wars. They are a leader or a general without a war. You're noticing some of the words just resentment and abandonment, and just poison. The person's bitter with poison. It actually, as a hobbit, it's a little hard for you to read some of these things. And beneath all of it, there is just a dark tone of somebody who has seen too much and has maybe given up.
Okay.
Right, so we have Kirian and Aldier. What would you like to do? I'm assuming Thrar is just at the door.
I'm just listening. I'm just at the trapdoor at the top of the stairs.
Oh.
Under the trapdoor, just listening.
You're up there. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Cool.
So this larder has no other entryways or exits. It's just the one room.
All you have seen so far is when you came down the stairs, and I apologize, I meant to actually do some old school like D&D drawing for you guys. I just ran out of time. It's coming. So what you see is a hallway, kind of a hall like we see here in the image that just sort of disappears into darkness.
Mm.
And to the right, just as you get down the stairs, to the right is this. Why? Headphone just died.
We're still here.
Okay.
Yes,
Everybody
can you
hear
hear us?
Yes.
Everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I still can't hear people. Unbelievable.
Testing.
I think I have a wire that
Testing. I get a test
I
from
can hear you.
somebody.
Good area.
Can you hear
Can
us?
you hear us?
Why does the world hate me?
I'll take that as a no.
What is going on? Hello, hello.
Can you hear us?
Everything is good.
Yeah. Can you hear us? We can hear you.
So weird. Testing, testing. Anybody? Somebody give me a test?
Can you hear us? Yes.
Check. We can hear you.
So
Or I can hear
weird.
you.
Oh, let me try this. Okay. Sound core is.
Testing.
We're
Yes.
back. Excellent. Haven't
Can
had
you hear
this
us?
issue before. Yes, I can hear everybody. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So weird. Okay, so yeah, you have the hallway here, and then to the right is kind of this storeroom or this alcove that you've walked into.
Okay.
And to the back of it, there's kind of a rotted mattress and some things around there. Paladin has looked at the shelf and the kind of makeshift desk.
Yes.
And there aren't any more writings to be found.
I don't know. You might have to.
Yeah.
Where would you like to look?
You may want to read what I wrote, what I found. I'm
Yeah,
not, I'm
I
not a
might take
linguist here.
I might take a closer look at the documents that Paladin found.
Yeah, I'd say that you take a look at them, and you kind of confirm that this is a pretty dark individual that feels that they were abandoned and felt more than underappreciated and discarded as useless, and but at some point was powerful.
Was there a
And-
name?
No signatures.
Okay. Well, perhaps we've. Could I check the? It's a desk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could I check it for like any like secret compartments or?
Yeah, I would say there's no secret compartments. It's a storeroom, so it's a larger, probably work area that was whoever this individual was kind of turned it into their area of writing and madness and musings.
Okay. Then maybe I take my torch and kind of walk back out to the hallway and kind of maybe try to peer a little more into the darkness, but not too far away from the party.
Great. So, yeah, what you see out there, you kind of have seen this before, but I can tell a little bit more. There's there's broken barrels that were probably had wine in them, but they're long since emptied. There's orcish skeletons everywhere, and the armor is rusted because this is from many ages ago and useless.
Mm.
You do see some shelves to the left. Can't quite make out them very much. That's kind of what you see just with the general
They're also
look.
Okay. Okay. Is it still my turn? Can I still approach those shelves?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I approach those shelves and guess peruse, scan through them to just look for any more documents or.
So the shelves are fairly empty, but you could you do just a awareness or a scan check?
We'll do an awareness. Got a 10. Did not make it.
Okay. So you're looking at the shelves, and they do seem like there's not much there, but maybe there's a sense that you need to look a little bit closer. So you may frame that to somebody in the party, or you can try again in a little bit. But we will. You're just still looking. You're just over in the shelves, just kind of looking around. It's pretty dark. It's kind of hard to maneuver through all this mayhem that is around. So with that, let's go to Thrar. What have you been up to?
Just listening. I think I would have tried to wedge the trapdoor shut. Like look for any sort of rings on the underside that I could slide my axe into, as like to bar it from being lifted from the outside.
I love this. Okay, so
Like if we're hiding from trolls, we need to be as secure as we can.
Because I'm a horrible person, I'm gonna just allow you to do that.
Okay.
So you take your weapon and you wedge it into the door. So now it's there to hold the door.
Yep. And I'm holding onto it because it's my axe. I'm not letting it just leaving it and walking away.
So you're going to stay up there. So you've got it between two rings. It's wedged up there, and you're just going to hold on to it.
I'm just holding onto it and listening. I'm just listening because I don't know what's going on up there.
Perfect. Okay, so you're guarding the door.
Yep.
All right, Aldia, what are you up to?
I think I've been looking at the storeroom and then seeing some Elvish too, so I'd like to do some more checking to get some more information.
Okay. So you're going to stay in the storeroom and keep looking around? Or you're coming back out into this hallway?
Well, I kind of went with Paladin, right?
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I was pacing
to
make sense of what I was doing. Going from the door to like shuffling my feet and stuff, but I kind of followed Paladin, read over his shoulder a little bit, and then turned around. And I'm still like scouring like does this go? Are we stuck under the tower and there's no way to get?
You have a trap door. You all came down the trap door. What you see on the screen here is the hallway that was in front of you.
I think I'm caught up with that. I'm paying attention, but I'm trying to like get more out of what's going on here.
Well, you have a couple of things happening. So you went into the storeroom off to the side, and then you can come back out into this hallway if you like and look around.
Gotcha. So there's nothing more in that storeroom to get.
I don't know.
Then I would like to read. And read sounded like I needed to lure it up with my Elvish education.
What are you doing in the storeroom? So you have a desk.
Well, there's
you have
person that lived here.
You have a
I have
bedroll.
very limited information except that he's low self-esteem and it's very sad in here. So how do I find out the reasoning of this person's madness.
Let me give you
So I'm
some
kind of like I'm looking for things
assistance.
I can read because these notes are pretty dire.
Gotcha. So
I want more.
you're doing a general kind of look in a tight area. So can you do a scan roll?
Sure. It's very dirty, and I don't like it. But I'm seeing worth in finding this person's like, that's getting inside the mind of the person that lives in this hole.
How was your scan?
8 and a 6 with a, what is it called? A Tingrid?
Tingwar, yeah.
Tingwar. So I am good. 15 was my goal. So
okay.
I am. Wait, hold on. Is that right? No, I didn't make it. Just kidding. 15, 8 plus 6.
You were so close.
Oh, yeah,
so you did make it. Okay, great. So if you made it, then you're drawn to.
No, I'm 13. Sorry, I can do that.
You did make it.
Just that this place is claustrophobic.
We'll say maybe you didn't find anything of
13 out of 15.
13 out of 15. Okay, so you didn't find anything of import, but your attention is drawn maybe to the bedroll area and all of the candles, and you can't really see the floor very well, but it is making you curious. So from there, let's see, we've got Paladin. What are you up to?
No, I was reading the that document.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the first one to go.
Yeah, so we're back to you. What would you like to do now?
Let's see. Now, I feel like I have to go and search the bedroll area.
Okay, so you kind of scooch over by Aldier a little bit, and you're a hobbit, so you can kind of fit in there. And I will need you to do a scan check.
All right, 18. I got a 12, then I got a 6 on my 6-sided.
Okay, so
be my target.
So you see, because you have that lamp, and so you're able to bring a little bit closer detail to the floor, and you see stubs of candles that are fused to the stone on the ground, and you see orcish bones that have been picked clean, or bones that don't look hobbity or human. Let's just say that. Yeah, they've been. They're very clean, a little bit too clean to have just been decayed. And you also see more script that you don't recognize. It's more carved as with a knife into the floor and around the bed area, and it is jagged as with a angry hand.
All right, I'm going to ponder those bones a little bit, and then I'm going to let Kieran know about the scripting. And there's some weird bones that I don't recognize. Then I'm just going to sort of back away from the bones a little bit and continue to ponder, and then get out of the way, since it's a very cramped area.
So you've gone out,
almost like home, though, almost like a little hobbit hole.
Hobbit home nightmare. So yeah, you back out. You're in the hallway now, and you're kind of over by Kieran, letting him know what was happening. So from that, we'll kind of start doing a little bit of a counterclockwise motion to help me out. Thrar, are you still just?
I'm. There are 2 trolls outside that saw us. I'm nervous.
Okay.
Because I don't trust. I just met these folk. I don't know how capable they are to fight off 2 trolls. I know that I to fight off 2 trolls by myself. So
Excellent. Okay, so Thrar's still just guardian holding that door. And I know
starting to be curious about the surface too.
I know Aldi had just went, but it'll help me a little bit for now. We'll kind of regroup into a little circular motion. So Aldi, you're in the storehouse. I know that maybe you were looking around, but Paladin came in and he saw some bones that had been picked clean, not necessarily decayed, around the bedroll area. And he found etchings that were very similar to the ones that he found on the paper, but more with a knife carved into the stone. So that's what he had found, and then he went out to let Kyrian know. So what would you like to do?
Isn't he like right in front of me? Like
he came in and he saw it with his lamp because he's a little bit closer to the ground.
Am I able to understand what he's doing, or am I completely removed from this experience?
You were kind of curious about the bed. You were kind of curious about that area, and then he came over because it's such a small, cramped space, and he had his little lantern thing, and he could see immediately. And yes, I think you're both very well informed that there are little bones that have been picked clean that are probably more orcish. They don't look mannish. And then there's etchings in the stone that don't look great.
Right. So there's something bad in here.
Mm-hmm.
That likes to eat something like those things. So we're kind of in a rock and a hard place where there's something going to get us in here, or we could fight the trolls. So should we try to bait it and light a fire of some sort, like here, like more with our torches, and see if it kind of comes out? Or do you think that it's outside and it's going to come in if we open it? Like, are we in its home and it's around, or did it take off and it's going to come back? I'm a little inquisitive.
Would you like to stay in the storeroom or come out to the main corridor?
I thought I came out to the corridor and I was standing right next to the bed, and then Paladin came in and did a whole check in front of the bed.
Oh,
where I was.
There's an alcove, and I will need to draw this stuff. There's an alcove to the right that you were in. That's a very small storeroom, and then what you're looking at on screen here is like the hallway or the main corridor.
I'm following. My body was like watching Paladin in the storeroom. Then I wasn't helpful in there, right? Because
so he came back out here,
and he told me to come back out. Then, right when my scan didn't really work very much, you told me about a bedroll. But then Paladin did another search and snuck by me and checked the bed. Then we found their bones. Now we need. I feel like I'm trying to determine: is the being still in this area that we're in? Or is it outside of the area come back to it where it sleeps?
I think what you could do if you're trying to see if the being is still around in here is you could do a hunt. So you're in this main corridor with everybody. Everybody's out of the storeroom. You're all here. You can see Thrar's feet because he's up holding that door, keeping his ear. You know, you can see his feet on the steps. And you're like, okay, he's up there. Everybody's in this main corridor. If you'd like to do a hunting check, you can kind of. Yeah.
You're doing great, by the way, to keep keeping track of where all of us are. So I'm just trying to remind you where I've been standing.
I did draw the dungeon. I just didn't have time to scan it.
That's okay. This is wonderful, by the way. Just to, I'm in my character of like, this is gross. So my irritation is coming from the fact that it's just like dusty as the heck in here, and it's just like.
You guys just really stepped outside of a KFC dumpster, so yeah, it is gross.
Yeah, exactly. It's unappetizing. It's Like, we're not quite warm yet, but it's probably going to get warm, which is even more perfunctory. Awful. Like a bad luck room. All right, so I'm hunting for the creature that's here. I'm not that great at hunting, so no, I didn't do anything. It didn't do very good. I'm pandering. I'm just kind of do we go out and just take the trolls now, or just sit here waiting for this thing, which I'm okay with trying to fight if it's here, but it's annoying. This whole thing's like giving me bugs without seeing bugs on my skin.
Okay, so you have an elf that's a little bit on edge and trying to determine if there is something still down here. And now we'll move over to Kyrian.
So after kind of trying to browse what's on the shelves, I kind of snap out of my scholarly instinct, and then remember my ranger training, and I'm like, oh, we are being pursued by 2 giant trolls, and feel really silly and almost embarrassed of leaving one of the party members to fend off these trolls by himself. So I immediately start scanning the room for any materials that I can use to kind of close off that entryway from to fend off trolls or keep them from opening the door.
So, well, you got Thrar, who's got it sealed using his axe right now, and the trapdoor is pretty small. But what were you wanting to do to seal it more?
Well, you said there's maybe some old rusty armor. Maybe there could be some wooden beams or something, so that Thrar doesn't have to sacrifice his weapon for closing the gate.
I love that. I actually will just let that be as a pass. So you find this large beam, maybe even right here by this guy, right? So you can't see my mouse, but there's over in that lower left-hand corner, you see this large beam, and you yell up to Thrar, hey, we could take this and wedge it at an angle to just keep, if we tie this off using these ropes and everything, we can tie this down to this beam. And so you spend some time together getting that sealed. If Thrar is okay, Thrar, does that make you feel good that the door is
much better?
Okay. There's some rings on the beam. There's some rings up there. You're able to kind of get it at least a little bit annoying for a troll to try to get through.
Before we finish tying it off, can I just listen? Are the trolls at the tower yet? Did they end up coming here? Because we don't even know if they came. We went into the hole and closed.
You've been in the tower for probably about, I would say, even though we've been talking for a while, you've probably been in the tower for about 2 minutes. So no, the trolls aren't there yet.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. So
Good enough.
So
together, I free my mattock from the trapdoor, and we wedge it shut.
great. So now everybody is down in this corridor, and since I think since you've been holding the door for so long, we might skip around a little bit because you haven't been able to do much down here. So if everybody's okay.
I'm fine waiting my turn. I don't mind.
Yeah, Thrar. I guess this can kind of work. Or you guys can also convene together if you want to talk a little bit about what you want to do. Otherwise, we would go with Paladin. So it's either Paladin, or if you want to convene a bit, you can.
I'm just going to, since I noticed Kyrian rushed out to help Thrar, I wanted to remind everyone about the writings by the harp into the stone by the bedroll that I didn't understand. Thought they might be helpful or a clue or more rantings.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they were. They were more. You recognize them as more just kind of similar to what you saw on the desk, but more primitive and more, I mean, they're etched with a knife, so very angry. But in the same lines of being tossed away and somebody of used to be power. So I guess we
used to
can,
be in power.
yeah, of some sort. Angry, very angry, lots of anger, so and bitterness. So we will now go to Thrar.
So now that my hands are free, I also light a torch, and I'm gonna walk down the corridor because from the top of the stairs, I saw everyone go into the alcove, come out, go back in, kick things around. I see that the elf is not happy underground. So I'm just gonna walk carefully, picking my way down the corridor.
Excellent. Can you give me a hunting roll?
Hunting. Oh, I have nothing in hunting. Gandalf rune.
Ooh.
So
Nice.
that's it.
First roll.
Nothing.
Just nothing. Just
So you
the
walk
Gandalf
through.
rule is it's not an automatic success, is it?
It is.
Oh no. Okay, so it's a success.
Yes.
So I get 20.
Oh, you got a Gandalf rune.
I got a Gandalf rune with no favor and no success dice. Yeah,
So
straight.
as you're walking through the rubble and the mess, much to Kirian's chagrin, you naturally are able to just see what nobody else has looked at yet, and that these orcs did not die of starvation. They did not die of fighting. They died before they could react. Their helmets were still fastened. Their jaws are locked in silent screams. Their postures are twisted in terror. They were cut down quickly before they could react. Something killed them so fast they did not even have time to process it. And even now, you can sense the memory of this battle as though you are in it, and it lingers. The walls whisper of something traumatic happening here. Yeah, so that's what you kind of see as you're walking down the hallway, the corridor. And you are noticing as you're getting to it, it's not that long, it's about 50 feet, and you're kind of almost towards the end, and it does open up to the left side as you come to a dead end. Yep, and off to the right is just a lot of barrels. It's a larder, and then on the left side, just before it opens up, it's just more of the shelving. But you're really noticing some of what's going on with these skeletons.
I'll relay that to the party without just repeating what you said.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if I can still go when I get to the end, to the left, is it another alcove or is it a corridor or?
It's another corridor.
Okay.
A little bit shorter. You're not fully there, but you can kind of see. Okay, it's another corridor that's turning to the left.
Okay.
All right. So Aldier, what would you like to do?
Where have we not gone? And I still am very hesitant that this thing's in here, even though I'm not good at hunting. So how else can I test that the creature, like, I think I said it. It's like, hey group, we are either in the home of a very, very bad creature, or we are like gonna bump into something worse potentially than the trolls.
You could do an awareness check. Or a scan. Awareness or a scan. I think I'll allow those two. Mix it up a bit.
Awareness sounds good to me. Perfect. I have a Gandalf rune, and I have a 10, and I needed 16. So,
Okay.
yeah, I was still like, what is it? Looking for warmth or sense. I mean, like more evil. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of the room. Like, obviously, I'm kicking things around a little bit, and I'm trying to understand how are we going to tell that this is used. Are we
So yeah, with your awareness and your
waiting to be pounced on?
yeah, you don't see any signs of life or feel as though there's anything in this corridor, as it were. But you do notice something that Theryn maybe overlooked on the shelf, and you see something peculiar, and it's 4 bones kind of propped as a square with a book, a large tome kind of in the middle of it, almost purposely set there.
Great. Are these the things that we came for? Do you guys see that? Who's gonna reach in? To grab this thing.
You're there. I think you're the only one left in the room.
Oh.
Oh no,
Then-
what we have in the room, you're not in the room anymore, everybody's in the corridor. And everybody's in the corridor, and Thrar is kind of in front of you guys by about maybe 15, 20 feet.
So basically, everyone is still sort of standing around the bottom of the stairs kind of area.
Kind of, yeah. They're
Right.
within that first 10, 15 feet from the stairs. Everybody kind of spilled back out into this main room, and you sort of just barreled past them. I am a dwarf. Hear me
I'm
roar.
not scared down here. It stinks, but it's still underground.
Yeah.
There we go.
So now that I see this book, am I allowed to interact with it, or shall I give someone else a turn? That's what I'm trying to be polite.
You're doing just right. You can grab it. You can ask if somebody else wants to grab it. You can say, hey, look at this. You can do whatever you want.
Look at this. This is really strange. Look at this. This is crazy. Like, not only did these things just die like of fright, but then this thing's manipulating its bones. This is dark, evil crap, and I don't know if I want. Sorry, dark, evil muck. And this book seems ominous. I'm not quite sure that I want to infect myself with the madness. So I would like to understand if you guys see this, and do you think that there's any kind of magic behind it? Or should I just grab it? Or should we do more lore checks, I guess? Like, can I feel magic off of it? Can anybody else feel terrible things off of
Rar
it?
walks back as as the elf is propounding about how creepy this is, and just grabs the book. He grabs a box, sets it down on the shelf, steps up on the box, grabs the book.
So you grab...
Better to be a hammer than an anvil, and just grabs the book.
I start mumbling in my own Elvish language at this point. I'm just like,
First time underground, knife ears.
So you you grab this book and you read the title of it, and it's titled "Echo of the Star-Kindled Shields: An Account of the Northern Hosts in the Elden Wars." And as you're reading that, you feel warmth in your body and just a spring of clear water in your lungs. And you're reminded of happy moments in your youth of just utter joy, and you regain one hope.
oh, that was a good choice.
All right. So...
Well, I found it for you. Good job.
I hold it, I brush off the dust, and I set down my pack, and I put it nicely at the top. When I open it, you see, because you're standing right there, it's packed with notes and parchment and just packed. And so the book goes in, pack gets closed, slung back on the shoulders.
Last time I'm being generous.
So I'm gonna move you all to the end of the corridor. So you're at the end of this corridor now, at the very end, and you're looking to the left where the corridor opens up, and what you can see is on the left. So now you've gone down here. Now you're facing this way, and on the left there's another shelf that is sagging beneath the weight of rotted books and scrolls. Patches of rot blossom and bloom across any of the shelves. All of it is unusable. The pages are just stuck and clung together as almost pulp. The books are soaked in filth. They slump against the stone. Their warped covers and pulped pages are just reduced to tragic waste for any scholar would be likely brought to tears. The right wall bears a large, jagged 3 foot by 4 foot hole where water you can kind of see glistening on the other side of the hole. And you're able to piece together that this is likely where the well was that must have burst through. And you can see the floor is covered in black silted water, and black mold is clinging to the walls, spreading like dark.
Can I tell how long ago the wall burst? Like, was it recent?
No, this was a long time ago. You could tell it's pretty old. Okay. And then also across, I should mention that across there's it's actually a short corridor. So there's like the silt of where this water has spilled out, and it's about 8 feet, kind of spreads out. It's about 8 feet. And on the other side, there's about a 2 or 3 feet area before there's another wall, and there is a door where that wall is. Pretty heavy old wooden door.
What should we do? Shall we head to the door or climb up the well area?
Thrar will lean into the hole in the wall and just look up.
So, kind of standing where you're at, or you wouldn't be able to lean in so much because you are kind of standing. You know, you have the I mean, it'd be a little bit. I mean, you can kind of maybe see, but you wouldn't be able to poke your head in and look up.
Okay.
Do you want to do that?
Yep. Okay,
so you step forward, and you're now about up to your chin in water. It's actually sunken. There's almost like a sinkhole, as it were, in the corridor. So that silt was a little misleading. So you're now very deep in water, but you can have a pretty good purview up into that it was a well and that it is a well, and you can kind of see some of the glistening of maybe the starlight from the evening sky off of the wall as you are.
I get out of the water.
Chin deep in water.
I get out of the water and wring out my beard.
Somebody had to do it.
Better me than the Hobbit. The Hobbit would be completely underwater.
Thank you, Theryn.
So at this point, if you would like to cross, there's a couple of options. If you would like, or you can discover. I know we'll probably stop at 5:30 just because I want to respect people's time, and I know it's a little late start. But unless people want to go further, so would you like me to assist a little bit, or would you like to noodle through a little bit crossing this?
Yeah.
So you said it's about 8 feet. The area
It's about 8 feet. I would say, just to give a little bit of a nudge, an elf could probably jump it. Probably, yeah.
I'm
Without much of
ready
without
to
much of
go.
a without much of a
But what's
check.
the answer in the water?
But a dwarf might need to be tossed.
Nobody tosses a dwarf.
You could wade across. You could try to do something makeshifty. You know, there's a couple of options.
So this silt just expands across the whole hallway, the whole corridor?
It pretty much expands across, and it's not even really silted. It is water. It's just been so still for so long that it almost just looked like a carpet. But then when you stepped into it, it's like actually there's a sinkhole right there that's about 3 feet deep, 3-ish feet deep.
Okay, so I apologize. We got in through the door, or the door is also an option.
The door is on the other side of this water.
Okay, so we have 2 exits.
It's further down the hallway. Okay.
We don't know anything about, and one we can scrapple and make I could lift someone up, and then they could climb onto someone else, and then they could climb onto someone else.
No, it's not a trapdoor, as it were. Oh, you're talking about the well. Yes, you could maybe
we have
go
options as a party. We're just sitting in gross, and so we have two like options. You know, should we just not see what's in the door area? What's the likelihood of the door area helping us? The water hasn't moved forever. It's a well. What is that door? I'm a little curious, but only because what if we could use it to drain the area or exit, and we don't really have any kind of tools or options to get up, right? So the path of least resistance is the door.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you guys feel like?
I'm in favor of the door as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's check the door.
I want to explore some more.
Now this thing could pop out.
Well, I do have rope in my bag in case we want to try to, after we get done exploring, ascend through the well. But
oh, great. Yeah, let's just check it while we're here.
So if I understand correctly, you're
this
going to
creepy
try to...
thing that scares the ghosts out of people is in there. Okay, so we're conscientiously a little bit like weapons up. There could be something bad in here, in this door. Can I go touch this door? Because everybody's
You can.
consented.
You can. I would say that if you want to, because you are an elf, and this is where I'll stop for one moment and check in with Thrar. Would you agree? Because I want to learn. Would you agree that an elf could do about an 8-foot jump fairly easily?
A running jump, yeah. Not from standing still at the edge of the water, but with a running jump of another 8 feet, no problem.
So you don't need to do an athletics check. You completely gracefully jump over this to the other side, and you do notice right away on the other side in front of the door that there are these bones in the shape of a triangle, and there is a book in the middle of those bones in front of the door.
Okay, great. I'm taking this book. No, just kidding. I'm not a scholar. I don't know what to do with books. I just want shiny objects. Does anybody want this book? In our party, found another book. Look at this.
Okay, so she
there.
Yeah.
None of us are over there yet. So,
are there any long beams that I can drag and
I can grab the book and deliver it to someone. It didn't hurt anybody last time.
We'll hold you there for a second. Yes, there are several beams that you could put across that would maybe kind of with a couple of checks probably act as some sort of a way to walk across.
Okay, I will start dragging the beam towards the water.
Okay, so you're able to drag that across, and you get sort of a beam going across a plank. You get a plank going across the water. So with that, I'd like to try the plank first.
I will try, but I will put. Oh, I'll let the hobbit go first.
Okay.
Because I witnessed him just sink in the slab. I'm like, huh, okay. So
I would say with the hobbit, yeah, I think it just might require a little bit of balance, right? So maybe just an athletics check.
Okay. Oh yeah, 1.
So as you're walking across the plank, you get probably pretty nervous of the atmosphere that you're in, and you slip and you fall into the water, and you obviously don't want to be there, so you begin wading to get out of the water. And as you're wading, the water feels oppressive. And you're like kind of jumping up and down to not drown, right? You're trying to just stay above the water a little bit.
You're a toque, right? You're not good with water.
Yeah, you're using the beam. You're using the beam a little bit to kind of guide you.
Exactly.
But you are noticing that the water, you can't help it. It just feels like the water's watching you, and that there's just something in this water that is just everywhere around you.
No.
It's unseen, but it's palpable. You just feel not well. It does not feel good to you. And you also notice, because you're closer to it, that the water's rippling a little unnaturally, not from you. The direction's coming towards you a little bit. Everyone at this point hears pounding from above, just distant pounding. And dust is sifting from the ceiling, carried by some tremors and large thuds from above. And the water's now, from what you had seen, is different. It's just rippling from all the vibration. And you begin to hear kind of almost echoing around, maybe through the well and through the ground and everything, deep, low, grumbling voices that are dull. And you're not able to really make out what is being said, but you can tell these are large beasts that are talking.
I think our guests have arrived.
The trolls are there. Oh, they're good ideas. Okay.
And Thrar puts a finger in front of his mouth and points to the well.
Out of game, I was curious. In game, I'm super serious. And that elf didn't say anything.
So we have now we have a very wet hobbit and an elf on one side, and we have Kyrian and Thrar on the other side. Kyrian, would you like? We haven't heard from you in a while. What would you like to do?
I believe the dwarf is wet too, except for the beard. The beard was wrung out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm wondering if I can make a. Am I able to make a jump across this water?
8 feet. I would want an athletics check. That's going to be dicey.
Yeah.
No pun intended. But it's not impossible, but it is a little. Yeah, I think it's going to be athletics, whether it's beam or jump.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll just go for the beam and try to balance myself across. So still do an athletics check, correct?
Mm-hmm.
$19.
And I just need to make sure that because you're a little bit weightier than a hobbit, that it doesn't break. The beam does not break. You actually make across. So Both you and the beam are happy. All right. So you have made it across. Now we just have Thrar.
Thrar, not wanting to damage his decades of collected knowledge, takes off his pack and tosses it at Kyrian. Catch! Don't drop it!
All right.
Yes.
And now he's gonna sling his mattock on his back, and it's only 8 feet. He's just gonna wade through. It's only up to his neck. He's already wet. So he's just gonna hold on to the beam and just wade through.
Okay, so you wade through, and as you're wading through, it's a very similar feeling of just oppressive. There's something in the water. You might shrug it off a little bit. It's just gross or nasty, but you've been in gross, nasty water before. Something is evil in this water. But you do make it to the other side, soaked. So you're all over on the other side, kind of on this little ledge almost. You know, you've got about 2 or 3 feet of breathing space, and you have this door, and there is this book in a bone of triangles. Or of a triangle that is made with bones.
I wring out my beard again. And I take my pack from Kyrian, and I grab the book and I put it in the bag.
He's just grabbing these books. So,
And what happened? What did I miss?
so you grab the book, and you actually, oddly enough, even though you just came out of the water, you have a refreshed feeling of a hot summer day where you dove in, or cannonballed in as a dwarf into a fresh spring of water, and you felt clean and invigorated as though you've just jumped into a crystal lake, and you can reduce your fatigue by 1.
Nice.
And the book is called
Last time.
Lake Nenuial, Evandum, Lake of Twilight.
I relay that as I also brush off the dust, blow on it, clean it up, and then put it in my bag.
All right, so now you have this door, and I don't know. We haven't heard from Kyrian too much. Kyrian, what would you like to do?
After noticing the title of the book, and then maybe remembering that, I think that was maybe one of the books that the scholar told us about. I don't quite remember. Yeah, I decide to test the door.
The door opens, and what it opens to is a small chamber, very small chamber, about 4 feet by 8 feet, 4 feet deep, and then 8 feet wide for the corridor. It contains a sparse stone, I would say almost shrine. It's probably once a place of meditation for the scribes that lived here. It's now long been abandoned. And despite the cleanliness of the space, it is filled with the weight of ages. It does feel like a cleaner space, though, as far as like evil. Feels more holy. Thick dust settles over everything, and the crumble of stone you can feel underfoot as you walk into this space. Against the back wall, there stands the stone table. Its surface is worn with time. There are 2 candle holders placed at either end, and in the center of the table rests a book encircled by bones arranged in a perfect circle.
Kyrian, noticing that the dwarf has had all the luck in picking up all the books, decide to reach over for this one, thinking it's my turn.
Oh no, it was luck.
And I should
There's
have,
the book.
as a GM, I can't go backwards, but it'll make sense why I would have wanted to, because I'm juggling some things when I'm learning.
For me.
So you grab this book, and you see the title. The title is The Gloaming Pact: Treaties of Diplomacy's Best Forgotten. And you feel emboldened, as though darkness cannot touch you. And I don't believe you have this, but you would lose 1 point of shadow, or you lose 1 fatigue. So it's a -1 fatigue or a -1 on shadow for you.
Nice.
Now, as you pick this up, you see underneath the book, and I don't know who all's in the room at this point. Is anybody else joined, Carrion?
Thrar would have come into the room because it's not a lot of space between the door and the water. So.
Mm-hmm. Who else is in the room?
Yeah, I'm still in the hallway.
Aldia?
Well, I was waiting to open the door, and somebody opened it again in front of me. So, and, I just jumped and just sat there and yelled about a book. And yeah, I'm curious. So I just
okay. So everybody sees. Everybody sees.
The water. Actually, I'm just like.
Everybody.
I don't know where I'm supposed to be by this point. I'm trying to let you continue the story. It's just funny. So
everybody's stealing your Easter eggs.
Well, no, nobody's stealing. I gave away the books. It's okay.
Yeah. So you're kind of all around in this room a little bit, but Paladin's sort of more by the door
entrance,
entrance. And so you're able to see, I would say, Thrar and Kieran. You're probably looking at the book a little bit, but underneath the book, as he's lifting it, you can see that there's a parchment that was under the book. And the parchment is turned, it looks blank, or maybe it's hard to tell, but there's a black arrowhead sitting on top of it, likely to keep it in its place. Kieran and let's go with Aldia, since she's in there. Do you like to do anything or pass?
I would like to pick up the sad parchment.
Okay.
Can I read something?
You absolutely are going to read something.
Okay. Well, that seems helpful.
Feel free to read this out loud, if you will.
A little bit tiny.
I'll read it, if that helps. So this is what you read. Here, maybe this will help. I think it would be good. I think it'd be good if you read it. That would be great. There you go. Go ahead.
Okay. They crossed the sea for the star-bound plea of one half-elven voice. And then what is after the word but
not for us.
But not for us. These bright flames stolen?
Mm-hmm.
And the elven there, the worlds.
It's probably hard to read, yeah. They crossed the sea for the star-bound plea of one half-elven voice, but not for us. 3 bright flames stolen, and the Eldar tore the world for them. Yet when we were taken, no horns were sounded, no host rode east, only silence. I learned then what love the Valar beauty, that they love beauty over blood, light over loyalty. And he, the black foe, promised much. But in his hunger for crowns and stones, he too proved small. Feanor's folly broke the world, and Morgoth drank deep of it, thinking himself mighty. Amaturus Baj, which I probably pronounced incorrectly.
Okay. So this is...
Does anybody want to do a lore check, or does anybody know?
Yeah, I'll do some more because I didn't get to read it.
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding. You guys, I mean, like, I don't understand in my brains. I'm holding on to it. Am I like letting you guys touch it so that you guys can do a lore check?
I'll do it. That's favored with 3. Yeah. Nope, that is not a pass. That is 13. I need a 15.
I'll help with the lore since I'm holding it, right?
What does help do? It gives 1 more d6.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still not. That was another one. I rolled 3 ones. 4 d6s. 4 d6s. 3 of them are 1s. No, that's still 14. I need 15. That's still a fail.
I could do a lore check as well. Is that loud? Can I do that?
He didn't say no. I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah. Okay, pass. That's a 19 with 1 tenor.
Okay, did you pass?
I did pass, yes.
Okay.
19 with a 1 tenor.
So as she reads that out loud, and Aldier is holding this parchment, you're able to discern that Amatra's Baj's hope is gone in the black speech. And as you say this out loud, Aldier, the room disappears from you. You see blackish and gray, and in the distance you see a black-gray forest and a silhouette that is even darker within that forest. And as you're peering in to try to see with all this gray and this black, and you're trying to see into the forest, a face that is beginning to emerge, and out from there an arrow comes straight at you, and as it's about to hit, you wake up and you're back in the room with your party. And I think that is a good stopping point, because
Speaking more Elvish to myself.
I absolutely love that the person who wanted all the blessings ended up with this dark little dream. If it's okay with everybody, I think that'll be a good stopping point, and we'll try to smooth out the technical stuff so we can get a little further faster.
That was fun.
Yep.